Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 250?
Is it?
I believe so.
249?
No, it's I think it's 250.
Woo!
I was not prepared for that. Hold on a second. We'll find out. I believe we're episode 250. We're here to wrap up Ironman MX. We're back in studio. Tom Cooper making his, I don't know, like third appearance in a month. Is that where we're at here?
Hey yo! I almost had another one there, but I was tied up with business that day.
Oh nope, we are 249.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, yeah, so we're 249, not 250.
Little premature.
A little premature. That's okay. Anyway, so show 249 here. Like I said, we're going to wrap up Ironman. Me and Tom were down there all weekend. Tom was kind of doing some wrenching for Kev. I was down there being media and seeing all my best friends in the world.
Making friends, so to say.
I saw all my best friends. I saw Kev.
Yep.
I saw Hunter. I saw Davey. I saw Sean. I mean, just all the friends.
Number of people. It was a good time.
We were all there. So anyway, it was a great time. Before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors. So first up, Complete Racing Solutions. Their 2024 Elite Rider Program application is now open. So if you guys want a chance to ride for their 2024 Elite Rider team, make sure to go ahead and go to CompleteRacingSolutions.com. You can send your resumes in on that, and they go through and they pick the guys that or gals that they like the best, both moto and off-road riding. They're in on all of it. So, and they've got almost 300 championships.
Coach Rob is the shit. So, quick little side note while you're in. Let me just get in here a little bit. When I was racing, there was the RacerX VT website, RacerX Virtual Trainer, and Coach Rob was one of the coaches on there. And Kim Wathen, one of my ex-girlfriends, her mom was one of the trainers on there, and I learned an absolute shit ton because I was a broke motocross kid working 3 jobs to race. Right. Well, I didn't have the money to have a trainer, so I would go on there and learn everything I could. And I literally read. Like now, it's funny because growing up through school, I literally read one book over and over. Jeremy McGrath's Wide Open book. I use it for every book report ever. Well, now as a business guy, I go through a couple of books, whether audiobooks or actual paper, a couple of them a week on average, right? So now I'm like, well, shit. If I had been reading a little bit more about the nutrition and training and stuff back then, like RacerX VT was the first thing that I really dug into, that I was able to learn a lot of stuff like that, and a lot of it was from Coach Rob. So when we saw him at this event, I was really like letting him know that he had a big effect on my career, although he didn't know it at the time. But he is a wealth of information, and he's only gotten better. And the hair and blood testing stuff that he does is a valuable asset to an athlete, or even just someone that wants to be healthy, because well, if you have a bunch of heavy metals that you need to get rid of, or if you got a deficiency in B or zinc or any of that stuff, like knowing what you need and what you have is step one.
Yep.
So go Coach Rob.
Absolutely. So again, check them out. CompleteRacingSolutions.com. 2024 Elite Rider Program now accepting applications. Also on board with us. Oh boy. Allergies. Anyway.
Travis has been sneezing his fucking brains out.
Nuts off all weekend. TLR Coatings. We're in the TLR Coatings studio here at the TLR Coatings shop. So if you guys need some custom powder coating, they're Michigan's #1 custom powder coating shop. Right?
I also own a powder coating shop, so it's weird to hear that every time, but I'm not trying to steal his thunder. Let it go.
We are Michigan's #1 custom powder coating shop here. So if you need anything coated, wheels, motorcycle parts, industrial applications, we do it all.
Yeah, let them do it. It's good.
Make sure to check us out at TLRcoatings.com or on all the major social media networks at TLR Coatings. Also on board with us, Holster Co, Gutter Worx, Adept Creative Co, and Isaac Nelson Designs.
This is Isaac Nelson, right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Isaac Nelson, way to go, buddy.
Yep. Also, a little plug, if you want to pick up any of the T-shirts, we're on Teespring. There is, actually, I believe, clickable links. Well, there's links in the description, and if you go down below the description here on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, there are things you can just click to just buy the T-shirts there directly through YouTube that way. So make sure to go pick those up. I've got the Kawasaki-inspired one. Got the old 50th anniversary Yamaha-inspired one there. So,
what's your volume for your pod? Like mostly YouTube, some Spotify, some Apple?
Mostly YouTube, yes.
Mostly, yeah.
Yes. So
that whenever I check it out, it's on YouTube too.
Yeah.
Because I want to see your lovely face, Trav. It adds to the show, honestly.
4 hours in my face every week. That's what we're here for. So, all right. So that's been all the plugs there. Pay all the bills, keep the lights on, and pay for us to go to the races. So let's jump into Ironman here. 450 race recap brought to you by our friend at Gutter Worx, Southwest Michigan's premier exterior modifications service.
You can't call it Justin Barsha's thing anymore. Now you got to change it to your new.
Always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. And as I found out this weekend by accident, Jason Anderson.
Oh, man.
I don't know, man.
There goes the neighborhood.
Cole will talk about that the entire Supercross season, guaranteed now. If Cole would have been there, Cole would have taken a picture of it.
I don't doubt that one bit.
And he would have done a side-by-side by them, by each other, and been like, who's bigger?
Well, I will say that we won't even talk about the ride right now, but Jason Anderson, seeing him as a family man with his beautiful bride and his little kid, like, that's so cool to see. Love to see it.
Yes. Okay, so actually, before we jump into the 450s here, though, I want to do the Abide Moto Ironman recap notes here.
Good. I don't know what that means, but good.
He's a dude on Instagram. He's fucking hilarious. I love it. So let me just do his race recap notes here. So number 1, sushi is back on the menu.
Boy.
Okay. Wow. We'll get to that in the 250 class. Deegan finish line combo makes Stu blush.
Yeah, we need to talk about that too.
100%, which we will get to. Fork dog goes down hard. We just watched that on the ride home there. Ferrandis is riding a wild bull, doesn't make it 8 seconds. That sucked.
Tough take right there.
This is a good one here. Sexton is going to need an ayahuasca vision quest in Nevada desert after this summer. the beatdown's real, and we'll get to that in a second here. Jet goes 1-1. Kid can't even legally drink a beer. Also very true. He's only 20, so that's a thing. AP throws a dildo 80-plus yards. NFL scouts immediately interested.
What's interesting about that, so for y'all at home that you may or may not have seen me on the broadcast, I haven't watched that part yet, but I was standing right next to the fucking podium with the Honda guys and Davey Coombs and a few other guys, and when AP's on the podium, in comes bombing what we thought was a water bottle, and as he's doing his interview, like, the cameraman, like, pans down, and AP and whoever was interviewing him, like, look at it, and it's a fucking blue dildo, and like everybody's in shock. They continue the interview, and then as AP goes to walk off the stage, he like turns around and starts walking, and he does and spins around and reaches down and grabs this blue dildo and goes to fire it into the crowd, and then like just kind of sort of tosses it, but he was gonna send that baby over them mountains about 5 miles.
It's hilarious. It was, I mean, that, and there was, I don't know if it was Abide or someone else that did the meme about throwing the factory Yamaha Star Racing dildo of Haley Deegan back into the crowd, because that was just the best thing I've seen so far this morning. And then the last note here, he says, time for the gimmick, and he's air quoting, playoffs. Let's see how stupid these things are.
I think
not my words. Not my words.
I don't know.
The playoffs are great, and there's nothing better we could be doing than more races.
Oh, boy. Well, we got...
I'm positive. Nope. Shut up, Tom. I'm positive on this.
Well, I'll say, since we're talking about...
32 races. You know what? Let's make it 35 next year.
Well,
this is what we need more racing. I love more racing. There's nothing I love than more racing. I'm sure the guys want to race more. We need more racing, and the more racing we're getting this year, this is just amazing.
Well, I'm as a non-rider fan now. Fuck yeah, but...
When I talked to Hunter yesterday, he told me we need more racing.
The thing, what I'll say about it is, I'm looking forward to seeing Chase Sexton back on a Supercross track and see what he got. See what he's got.
We should just make it so Jet can go 50-0 in a year. Like this is great.
Well, that's because you're thinking that he's going to go 17-0 for Supercross, but I don't think that. Not even a little bit.
So that was your Abide Moto's notes there. Shout out to him. Really enjoy. I enjoy your notes every weekend. Actually, they are hilarious to me.
Did I meet this person? Who is?
No,
Abide?
we've never met him. I literally stumbled across him on Instagram one day and just started following him.
Okay,
and it's hilarious. Like he makes memes and that kind of stuff, and it's always hilarious.
Meme warfare, my kind of style.
He did one of like a guy with a kid over his lap about to spank him, and it was like they put like Jet's face and then like Sexton's face. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And then his race notes are they're classics. So, all right. So anyway, so jumping into the 450s here. 450 race recap brought to you by Gutter Works. Always well hung, just like Jason Anderson and Justin Barsha.
I don't know how we get in this.
We're just up. We're just up in it. We're just up in the ante.
All right.
Okay. So Jet completes the perfect season.
Yeah. How honorable is that? Pretty cool to see.
I feel vindicated.
We were there to witness.
We were there. We witnessed it. It was super cool. I have the video reel coming soon here of him crossing the finish line, and it was. I mean, it was glorious to watch.
So for me, like right after the finish line is the mechanics area. You go over the scrub single thing, which was awesome to watch. Which I was really surprised because I thought it was going to suck this year. Because when you come into all that speed and then you got to like scrub over something with the ruts, it's really dangerous. But it was super fun to watch. Like Deegan and those guys were hitting it. But anyways, when Jet ghost rode his bike, I was the person standing at the bottom of the hill, and I'm like, if the bike's coming at me, I got a factory Honda that just went 22-0 coming at me. Let's go, and then just tipped over, but. Yeah,
I'm gonna hug it.
Shit. Well, I have some videos. So, like right after that, I went over to the podium. I went and said hi to Davey Coombs, and then I walked over to the podium with him across the track, and standing next to the Honda guys inside the little corral there at the podium. Man, it's kind of a magical thing being next to the #1 plate and that kind of stuff. Like not the plate, but like while they're doing their powwow, I'm standing next to Hunter's bike, like looking at the jewelry that it is, and like this is fucking cool. So as Jet's going by for his last lap of a perfect season, I got like a video of me like, hey, look at my corny ass while he goes riding by on his last lap of perfect season, and then 2 minutes later, standing next to his brother's bike with the #1 plate, it's like, we bared witness. My grandchildren probably won't exist, but if I have grandchildren, they're going to look at that and be like, fucking grandpa was next to Jet Lawrence's rookie season. Perfect.
Yep. Well, if you go back and think about the other 3 perfect seasons here, so there was 2008, which I wasn't really into the sport at that point. You were, so I don't know if you saw it, but obviously
I think I was working with Preston Mole that year.
Okay, but obviously you didn't go. Well, did you go the last round then?
I don't remember. It was a long fucking time ago now.
Yeah.
15 years ago or whatever.
So, anyway, I wasn't around to even be in it. And then Ricky's 04. And what was the other year he did it?
I don't know. Maybe 06. I don't even know.
I don't know. I wasn't around.
It wasn't back-to-back, so it wouldn't. Yeah. It couldn't have been 05.
I wasn't around for any of them. So, I wasn't that into the sport. It was kind of one of those things, like, I'd gotten into hockey real severely, so motocross. So, like, being able to see one in my lifetime here that I actually was part of, like saw him win, obviously 4 of the 22 motos, I'm like, this was cool.
You may never see it again.
May never see it again. Until January when we start Supercross and we see the first ever 17-0 Supercross season, because, God, that's going to be fucking glorious.
Well, this is a great time to bring up. We need to put a wager on it then.
I'm going to be vindicated on this.
I would
much like outdoors.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to put money against him winning the championship, but I'd definitely put whatever you want against him going perfect season. There's no fucking chance.
Man, it's going to be glorious.
I like the Lawrences, but there ain't no fucking chance he's going perfect season in Supercross.
I don't know. I got to think about this a little bit more here. Okay. I got to do some studying.
We got to make it a juicy bet too, not just $20 or something. Like even a bottle of whiskey's fine, but like this isn't a small bet.
$1 billion.
I don't remember.
Yeah, with the pinky.
Yeah, right.
So, no, but yeah, 20. I mean, there's not a lot to say. We've broke down everything. He was picture perfect. I mean, he was doing stuff there. When you went around the start, you did that 90 right, and then that tight 180 left, and then when you came into that next 90 left, he was jumping that inside braking bump. I've seen it on Instagram this morning.
He and Deegan are the only 2 people I saw.
Up over the inside roller and just butter. Like,
it's really hard to do that.
Even Deegan wasn't doing it as clean. Like, Deegan did it, but it wasn't clean like Jet.
Clearing it was one thing, but the challenge as a rider is, like, if you can bunny hop a braking bump and get over, okay. Yeah. But you're landing in a corner when the corner has already been turning.
Like I said,
it was fucking hard to do.
It was money, dude. I watched that so many times. The other thing I watched, in that back section there, that long rhythm lane that goes under the bridge there.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the video of him casing the top of it and just like, and just kept going? Like, not case and like, oh shit. Like, just cased it like it wasn't even there.
So it's when on the track, after you come from the back side to the front side.
When you go under the bridge.
You go under the bridge, the man bridge, and then there's like a 5-pack, and then a little weird double, and then another.
Yeah, it's like a checkup. It's like a 5-pack, then a checkup jump, and then a. Yeah, they built the last double like way up, way bigger. Than
way too short for that much speed too. But
yeah.
What you and I were talking about before the race is that I thought that they were going to go and get up and wheel tap off the top one and land in the pocket and then hit the next jump, and nobody did that. But this is the closest you could get doing that, where you kind of like clank and you go off of that.
Yeah, which was wild. I mean, if you want to know why he went 22-0, you watch his bike handle that, and you just go, oh, okay, that's. I mean. Dude, anybody else would have hit that, started going to Indonesia, whether they went all the way or not, and just been on the limiter. And he didn't even do it. He literally just, like, rode through it and then manualed into the face of the next one. It was, I mean, it was the most... I'm
like a BMX bike.
Yeah, I'm speechless over it, dude. It was great to see 22-0, and now we're done talking about that. We'll see if he can go 3-0.
So the thing is that you like when we watched Ricky and James in their era, like when they won, it's like good fucking luck beating them because they looked like kind of similar to Deegan right now, where he's hitting this finish line thing we're going to talk about later. When Ricky was that era, he would be like, here's the jump. He would jump to like fucking out here. He's just, nobody's going to beat him.
Yeah.
Right? I never have thought that with Jet. Not even once.
No.
Like, he's very, very, very good, and he's so fast, but he makes it look easy.
This is why I think so many people, especially like Justin, who grew up in the Ricky and Stu era there, it confused them. And they were like, oh, there's no way he's going to do it. No, he doesn't care. He doesn't have that domination bug in him of like, I'm going to destroy you and your feelings all at once, but
he just beats you really good.
Yeah, but he's like, but I'm going to win.
Tiptoeing around.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
really impressive to watch, but
fucking incredible.
Kind of confusing still, honestly. As a tactician, I look at the mechanics of how you do these actions of the race, it doesn't really add up for me. He's just that good at everything.
He's gonna just destroy everyone.
I can't wait for the bet. You're gonna be hitting this panic button right here.
When he's talking. I mean, think about it. Think about it. At what point have you ever heard outside the only person who's done this? The only person who's done this was Stu.
What?
At what point have you heard someone in the premier class say, I knew he was catching me, so I slowed down so I would be rested when he did it?
Filippo.
When did he say that?
Townley.
Oh, okay. Fair.
But very, very rare. It's not normal.
I was going to say, okay, so there's been two people who have done it.
Dude, those guys went in the RV and
I remember because I've gone back and watched
so
stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
That must have been like 07?
Yeah. 07, they were battling it.
So badass.
Was it 07 or was it 08? It might have been 08.
Could have been.
I think it was actually, it might have been 08 because I think it was the year Stu went perfect because I've watched that Great Outdoors multiple times and they talked about
the all Kawasaki show.
Yes.
Speaking of Kawasaki, we're going to get to that later. Boy, it's nice to see them back on top.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. There's a lot of race wins coming here, buddy. 3 more before the year's over. Maybe 4 because he's going to win. We'll see. I want to see what Paris Supercross is like. Because he's racing Paris Supercross.
Really? Mm-hmm. Both of them?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think Webb's going too.
Good.
So this will be.
I want to see. Fun. I want to see a really pissed off Cooper Webb.
Well, you're going to see him in 2 weeks too.
Yeah, like a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah. And then when Jet just destroys that, like, how's that going to be? Like,
yeah, we'll see about that.
You think he can mentally break him too?
No. You ain't getting a Cooper Webb.
Has he mentally broke Chase yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that Chase is still on his way up. And they're both so young. And I think Cooper Webb, you're not going to get to him mentally wise, but I think that you're just going to. Truthfully, if he's not a saber-toothed tiger, it's because he's on his way out, not because you're beating him and he's submitting.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so Sexton goes 2-2 for second. He wanted it bad yesterday, buddy.
He looked great.
He was. I made the comment. I kept it a little more PG. Issac from the West Coast guy.
Gonzales?
Was texting me.
Shout out to that kid.
Yep.
He's real nice. I just started talking to him. I don't know
Did
who
you?
he is.
Yeah. So he texted me in the morning. He's like, well, what do you think? You think Chase is going to get him? And I said, Chase is here to fuck.
Is he a kid or a guy? I don't know.
Well, he's a dude. He's a dude.
Like
I kept it more PG. I said Chase is here to party or something like that. But in my mind, I was saying Chase showed up to fuck yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, he got fucked because Jet was like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
But in practice, he was there to rip.
Yeah.
So
in the mechanics area, I was doing, obviously, as you guys know, I was Kevin Moran's mechanic for the day with him and his dad, Frank, who's the fucking nicest guy ever. But anyways.
Me and Frank share Chips Ahoy every time we're together, baby.
Yeah, he's a real good guy.
We break fucking bread, dog.
But anyway, so I'm in the mechanics area, and there's 2 Suzuki guys, then Jay Shan, who is CNC Rulo's mechanic, then me, then I don't remember Anderson's mechanic's name, but then there's Zimmy, who's Sexton's mechanic, and then Christian, who is Jet's mechanic, all like in a row there. So like Kevin's a little ways behind, so I'm kind of like, as I'm doing my pit board and checking this shit, I gotta seeing what they're doing too, and what the 2 Honda guys would put on the board would just be their 2 lap times for both of them. So it would be the rider's lap time on top and the other person's lap time below, and it was really interesting to see because like they're teammates and they're all good friends, but they're competing too, right? So it was fun, and they get all fired up like as you would. Like Kevin's a friend of ours, and like I like I'm involved in helping him, but like we don't have that bond, so to say. But when you're that deep, in a championship hunt, your mechanic is like ready to bleed for you straight up. So to see them, like the mechanics, the competitors in there, it's, it's cool. And like I don't know Zimmy at all, but like many years ago, we were supposed to be on a team together, and I actually didn't really like the guy back then. But he's nothing wrong with him now. Good for you. But to see him compete like that, you'll love to see it because it's a very rare thing that you get to experience, let alone in life, but just in our sport in general. Only a handful of guys get that experience, right? So. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yep. All right, so AP goes 5-3 for third. That was what I told our friends from Alabama at the bar on Friday night.
Yeah,
podium.
That wife loved Chad Reed.
Oh yeah. I wonder if she saw him yesterday.
I wish she would have, because she was ready to see him.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to our Alabama friends.
I don't remember the names, but they're cool.
Blanking on it, too. We're terrible. He's going to listen to this and comment and be like, it was whatever.
Well, I blame it on the...
alcohol.
Yeah, what was it?
The tequila shots we did with them. I don't remember. I need that tequila shot either.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do tequila shots, never do them warm. Always chill them. Never. Any shot, really. Kids home, sorry. Sorry your mom's watching this, but...
Future reference.
Don't do warm shots. It's gross.
No. But anyway, so AP goes 5-3. Dude, just the life of the party there in Indiana. They went. Those people love him.
So I'm standing at the podium after the perfect season stuff, and then they brought up AP, and he's a local boy, right? Well, the crowd's going nuts for the Lawrence brothers, but then they go crazy for AP, who got third.
They went crazy for him on the parade.
It was
lap.
awesome.
Like it was a thing. So.
Love to see it. They go that way for Deegan too, and it's like he's brand new. What's this gonna grow to?
Yeah, so I think that's a good round out of the year for AP there. We'll see what he does in these SMX races, but he definitely came full circle and made some good gains.
Allegedly, their bikes improved a lot. I don't know nothing about it, but allegedly.
We'll see. Let's see what these super motocross races look like.
Well, what you make for example, the forks is allegedly one of the problems they have, right? Well, if you've made your forks better for motocross, well, then you're going to a totally different discipline. Like your suspension, for you guys that don't ride at home, like Supercross and outdoor suspension are totally different. It's like a mountain bike and a BMX bike. That's how different they are. So like, okay, if you made it better for outdoors, well, what happens when you go indoors, right?
I don't know, man. We're gonna find out.
They probably have test riders already doing that.
Yeah. All right. Jason Anderson goes 4-4 for fourth. He was ripping yesterday.
He looked awesome.
Yeah.
So there's like a flow to the track a lot of times, right? So like he was one of the guys that he and AP both, rather than like going like this over the braking bumps, they like make the bike real light and the bike does the work, but they like almost are just floating over top of it. And when they would go by, you're like, it was visually noticeable. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, he looked super good yesterday. Every time I was watching him, he was ripping. So he was one of those guys that would scrub that hill right before the mechanics area so damn hard. It was like, maybe tone it back, bro. Like,
super fun.
Like you watch some of those guys, and this is something that like happened last year too that I watched. So like Sexton and Eli battling there last year. Both those guys, they slam that hill, dude. Like they're not nice on it. They are literally trying to drive the bike through the pocket of that fucking hill.
Yeah.
Then you get guys like Jet. Nope, he's just like whoop. It's completely different. Like standing there watching it, because I stand there a lot by the tower and watch these races there because it's in the shade and usually it's a gazillion degrees, much like it was yesterday. So the shade's really nice. So I watch that section a lot. And like I said, watching these guys float, there are some of them that do. I mean, Deegan was another one, and like I said, we'll get to him and how he like punched the bike in there. But then you get guys like Jet, and it's like he doesn't even scrub it that hard. It's crazy. Like he's not flat. He's literally, there's like a little like bike motion to it, but it's not anything like some of these guys. Ando is one of those guys that like slams it in there and is like whoop over it. So
an interesting thing about that, I didn't get to see the 450s from that side because obviously I'm on the bottom of that hill. But they were a lot of times land way off to the left, and like you gotta be like, don't hit me. But the 250s I did watch. When they come into that scrub single real hard, most guys that are like going pretty fast, like they come into it and they're scrubbing and they're braking to eat their speed, and like they follow it and they kind of do a whip over the top. But the fast guys, like the top 5 250s is all I really noticed. Deegan's a great example for this. They're using the skid plate on the bike. They basically frame the bike into the ground and then slide the bike. So you see the scrub lines, but they're really framing. The reason that there's only a rut on the outside isn't just because they're scrubbing it, because they're destroying the inside of that line with the skid plate. They're mashing the bike into the dirt to eat that momentum. Because when you're coming into it, especially going right, you can't fucking push the brake when you're leaning the bike to the right. So it's really interesting. The little details like that, the mechanics of it are super cool to watch.
Yeah, so guys like Deegan and Barsha there that are like laying the bike flat and stuff. I noticed this with Barsha in the 450 moto when I was watching it. About halfway up that face, he's not even on the tires anymore. It's literally like the skid plate, like you said, and like the side of the bike as he's like scrubbing it over, because the tires are just like floating up. I guess you'd call it the cushion of the rut going up the face of. I mean, it's the most insane thing to watch and be like, I don't even understand how the mechanics, the physics work.
That's an interesting thing you just brought
up.
Because when you come up, so like if you think about, like I'm not really good at getting a good visual here for the fans, but let's say this is the rut. When you come at it at the, like you're in the pocket of the rut, your bike follows the rut. But when you're here, like it might maybe catch the end of the rut, maybe. Like you want it to slide. You don't want it to be like cornering a rut kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Cool to watch. Very unusual to see, but fun to watch for sure.
And like I said, and not everybody does it, because like you watch like Barsha Anderson, them that really throw the bike flat, a lot of bike and body English, like it's completely different than like when Jet goes in there.
Yeah.
Completely different. So
the dirt there was really good there yesterday. Most of the dirt on the track was really good. There was a couple spots that didn't water. Dylan Ferrandis has got something to say about that, but otherwise it was pretty damn good.
Yep. AC goes 6.6 for 5th.
Great.
Yeah. That's,
I mean, top 5, whatever, but
he is tied with everybody else here for the most races completed this year, as they said on the broadcast. So he's pumped on that, which is the same thing we've been saying, which is just finish all the laps.
Yeah, he looked great, and he's improving.
Yep.
Honestly, like, I don't know, this whole arm nerve thing is, who knows what it actually is going on, but I still feel like he's improving, honestly.
He is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's, if the arm gets better, he's going to show up to fuck again, okay?
Yeah,
like
especially
he did rookie year. Yep. He's going to show up, and that speed will start to show back up. Right now, he's still, it's better. They said it's better.
I mean, top 5 in the 450 class is pretty fucking good. But.
Yeah, with one arm. So, because, I mean, if I chop off your arm, like, okay, good luck. You know?
Right.
So, anyway. All right. Garrett Marchbanks, 7.8 for 6th.
Good ride.
Rides that 450 kind of like a 250. Like he likes it better, but like he's I noticed with him and Phil, like they're on the limiter a lot.
Oh,
like a lot. At least a lot more compared to say everyone else. You know, Jet's like obviously a bad example because Jet's like so far in the other direction. But compared to like Chase and them, it's things like this that you see when you're at the races and like pick up on because you just like, especially like that section, like I said, where they go finish line and then, you know, the checkup and then the scrub jump. It's like you really see like, okay, like who's on the limiter. And it's like you watch Jet and Jet's just coasting, so whatever. But then you watch like Chase and he's like, bruh, bruh. Bruh, and then you hear like Marchbanks come over and he's like bruh, 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 bruh. And it's like, okay, yeah, dude, maybe we should just like chill a little bit more. Like, great rider.
I mean, it sounds nice, right? But
sounds cool.
When you're trying to chase those guys, you're like squeeze every inch out of that throttle cable you can, you know.
Well, I don't know. Jet went 22-0 and didn't go past quarter throttle, so I mean, maybe we should have some conversations about what riding really is. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Ask Justin Barsha, who was throwing one-leggers every lap.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
He also didn't beat, what's it called, all year.
Yeah, he had a rough day yesterday.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. But great ride for Marchbanks, 7-8 for 6th. I mean, he's in my opinion here, if he continues to do things like this, he's just a solid secondary 450 rider for some team.
Yeah, he's what Kyle Chisholm used to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kyle Chisholm's kind of like the third rate now, but he's you know, been there
Chiz
forever
is
and
40 years old, dude.
Reliable.
Yep.
Easy, you know.
Yep. So, speaking of Barsha, he goes 11-5 for 7th. Wasn't he down in the first moto? I don't remember.
I don't remember if it wasn't the first corner, but it was not that far past that, right? So
yeah,
came from way fucking back.
Yeah, bit of a rough day. He was riding okay. Everything I saw from him, like there wasn't anything crazy that he like wasn't doing or anything. He just
when you start in 30s, something.
Yeah, it just makes it tricky. So
took him half the moto to get by Kevin.
Yeah, it did. That first moto, he didn't move up fast because that was how I was tracking Kev too. Like, and even when he got around Kev, like he wasn't getting around everybody else really quickly either. So
maybe the 100 degrees has something to do with all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, that could be. He might have been. I don't remember when it was. Never mind. I'm out.
All right.
I had a thought, and it's irrelevant now. So anyway, Dylan Wright, Canada's own, goes 8-9 for 8th. So that's cool. His chain didn't come off this week and shatter his cases, so big plus there. He got to pit off the side of the Honda truck, so that's kind of cool. Anytime you get to do that, so
especially on a day like that, he gets a taste of that.
Yep.
So there's a huge thing about having. So as a racer or any professional potential person, there's an old saying from Dan Pena: success leaves clues. Mm-hmm. Right. So when you're around on a day when there's 2 number 1 plates and everything's going your way in Honda, you want to be, if you're trying to be that person, you want to be as close as you can, right? So to have that opportunity is good for him.
Yeah. All right, Phil Nicoletti goes 12-7 for 11th, or I'm sorry, 12-7 for 9th. Jesus, it's been a long weekend. Phil goes 12-7 for 9th. Phil looked fine.
I don't want to keep shitting on the guy, but whatever.
69 in, baby.
Yawn.
Wine, dine, and 69. So
nothing against the guy. He fucking did pretty good, but, you know. Whatever.
Harry Koulis from Estonia goes 9-12 for 10th, so that's cool. Dylan Ferrandis. First moto, Dylan Danger Zone was back. He went 3rd. Second moto, big old nose pick in that 3rd corner there, and DNFs.
Yep, that's what happens when you don't water the whole track very good and you have a slide out like that.
Yep, and to be honest, I think he's just over Star Yamaha at this point. So
on the broadcast, we were listening to it on the way home because we just got back from the race fucking half an hour ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But they mentioned that his agent claims they have something
for next
in the
year.
works.
Yeah,
and I hope so. I really hope so.
Me too.
You know, it's
But supposedly he's going to be riding next year, is what they said, which is weird because everything I've heard is he's not riding next year.
Knock on wood for him.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. So
he looked good, though. He really did look good.
Hawaii's own Grant Harlan goes 14-14 for 12. Freddie Noren goes 22-10 for 13. And Freddie was way back in that first moto, too. He also, maybe he got tied up with Bam. I don't remember. But he came from a long ways back because I remember him going by somewhere where I was filming and I was like, oh, Freddie, what happened, bro? Like, why are you way back here? So, anyway.
Did we miss Pettis?
Nope.
Oh, he got a bad overall then.
Pettis goes 10 DNF for 14th.
I didn't know he DNF'd.
Yeah, that second moto he pulled off. Remember I told you I watched him pull in the pits, and there was something wrong with the left handlebar of his bike. I don't know what it was.
Oh, shitty.
Yeah, so
he looked so good.
He was there was fucking ripping.
There was like 5 riders there. I was like, wow, right?
Yep.
2 of them are really easy to tell, and Joe number 3, but Pettis was unreal looking.
Just ripping.
He's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really impressed because being a Michigan man, I see a lot of the Canadian stuff, and I thought he was a good rider, but I thought he was just another good rider.
Yeah.
When he's going by it, I'm like, fuck, this guy's fast.
He was on a fucking mission in practice.
Yeah.
We both came back and you were like, dude, you see Pettis? I was like, yeah. Because I had to be like, who the hell is this 3-digit dude on a Red Bull KTM? Dude, it was impressive. And that first moto, he was... It's like our boy Jace from Gypsy Tales says, those boys showed up to fuck. And he showed up yesterday to fuck. And he did, too. Top 10 in that first moto all day long, man.
Most of the time when you're at a national, especially in the 450 class, as guys go by, like, oh, yeah, there goes that guy. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And you're like, yeah, they kind of are similar.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have a standout guy where you're like, you get a little head turn, like, whoa. I had like 10 of them when that guy went by. Even in the mechanics area, it was real rough and ruddy in front of the mechanics area, and a lot of guys were like right on the edge of the track, just barely missing my fucking pit board and stuff. Dude, he would just pop a wheelie and ride through it or whatever. He was flying.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, damn. And once I really realized who it was, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I was surprised.
Yeah, there was him and there was Jay Wilson in practice that I was like, man, those guys are ripping. And then he was going really fast, and Jay Wilson, I realized, just looked like he was going really fast.
Yeah, he was. He didn't show up for the motos, right?
No, I don't know what happened there. Jose Boutron goes DNF 11. He had bike troubles that first moto. Jeremy Hand goes 16-16 for 16th.
Boutron looked like he was having an ailment on the second moto gate, because he was like, you when you got kind of an injury, you're trying to like stretch out and stuff, and you're laboring it and stuff. I was standing right fucking next to the guy, and he's doing all his weird stretches. I'm like, you all right, dude? He's fucking tight, man.
Yeah.
His weird accent. I'm like, let it rip, dude.
Yeah. You all right, man? I'm tight, bro. I'm so tight. So, all right. Let's see here. Where were we? Shane McElrath, aka Johnny Shanes. shows up, goes 25-13 for 17th. God, that's rough. It's rough when you show up and you don't get any points in a moto. Like Kev had it second moto yesterday. Shane had it first moto yesterday. Poor what's his nuts there? Colt Nichols shows up, gets 0 points. Think he broke his hand or something, or finger or something.
I hope he's all right, but otherwise,
yeah. So anyway, Stephen Rabuni from France goes 13 DNF for 18th. Bryce Shelley, rookie out of Loretta's here, shows up and goes 15-20 for 19th.
Points.
Yep. And Roman Pope shows up and goes DNF 15 for 20th. And that's basically the top 20 there. Shout out to Jace Kessler, goes 18-24 for 24th.
Points.
Let's see here. Anybody else from Michigan? Nope. And like I said, Colt Nichols shows up, gets 0 points, goes 37 DNF. Rough fucking day.
His last go on a Kawasaki. His last go on a Japanese bike. Because he's beta.
He might ride the Kawasaki for SMX,
yeah,
and he's
still
hand. Contracted for whatever it is, Rick Ware or MDK, whoever it is he's riding for World Supercross. So whenever we get back to rounds of that, he'll be on whatever bike that is, I think.
Well, so much for what the fuck I'm talking about.
So that's been your 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutter Worx. Make sure to check them out for all your exterior needs. They're always well hung. Just like Justin Barsha, Jason Anderson. So.
Yeah, boy.
All right, moving on here. We're going to do I'm going to do my Holster Co. reload rant.
This is going to be great.
It's not.
I don't even know what it is today.
It's not going to be anything like you think it is. So here's my Holster Co. reload rant, okay? We get shit all the time about not being professional, okay? This isn't a professional setup, and it's not. We do these mostly for fun. I take it kind of as a secondary job, but it's mostly for fun.
I'm just here for fun.
Then we are sitting. Where the fuck were we sitting watching ESPN the other night?
Oh, this is hilarious.
Where were we sitting watching?
We were at the steakhouse in...
Fuck yes, that's where we were. We're at dinner
Stevensville.
Thursday night, middle of, I don't know, Michigan, Stevensville, somewhere down there, headed down towards Crawfordsville, having dinner. Fucking ESPN is on. They're interviewing a guy on ESPN, another guy like us who does... Yeah, Schefter. Okay, yeah, whatever. He's on his fucking phone in a restaurant doing the interview. On ESPN.
As we're at the restaurant talking about moto at the bar, we're like, well, shit, we should just grab a GoPro.
But we are the unprofessional ones.
That's funny.
I mean, this is a fucking multi-million, hundreds of $1,000,000 company, and they've got a guy on a cell phone at dinner.
Yep.
Unfucking real.
Well, on one hand...
I don't want to hear anybody talk about my professionalism anymore.
Well...
No, I won't hear it. I won't hear it. He's on ESPN in a fucking steakhouse. He wasn't in his house with his bookshelf behind him or in his basement, you know, in his man cave, whatever. He was in a fucking restaurant on his cell phone.
I'll say it was amateur, but let me just respond with, okay, so I live on a lake, and I got a pontoon boat that would be a great place to have you and me and about 6, maybe 8 women have the show on the pontoon, or we could be like Thursday when we rolled in. Friday when we were there. It was hot as hell out, and I had my golf clubs with me, so I went across town to Crawfordsville and went golfing, and we could be filming on the fucking golf course, pounding, Capri Suns or whatever you drink.
It's unbelievable. It's the unprofessionalism there that they can get away with because their ESPN is unbelievable.
Well, that was unprofessional, but the other side of it...
I'm unprofessional.
Well, the other side of it is I think that, this studio is cool, and being, real straight to the topics is cool, but I truthfully, I don't know, because I don't watch a lot of the podcast stuff, but I truthfully think, the flavor of things is way fucking cooler. So, being in here is cool, and, the things that we get to show and explain on the pod are cool, but, imagine that it's me and you on the pontoon boat with, 2 racers and a bunch of women. That would be a great show. That'd be a fucking awesome show. And the fans would love it. All 40 of them would love it.
All 45 people would think it's great. No, probably half of them would tell us that we're Deegan haters. And
Wouldn't that be awesome?
The other half would be like, you guys don't even fucking watch Moto. And yeah, so here we are.
Okay, so in response to that, if we had the 4 Deegans with us or 5 Deegans with us on the pontoon, that would be a great show.
Be a great time.
Imagine the volume they would get from their channel being on there.
Yeah.
What do they get, 2 million of video?
No, they're not that high.
They've
got 1 million subs, but they're not. They get 30%. So 300,000 or something.
Oh shoot, shucks!
I'm just saying it's not as high as you think. So
okay, well let's do a pontoon show and see how it goes.
Well, as soon as you get Brian out there with us, I'm in.
All right.
So all right, that's been your Holster Co Reload rant. I'm professionalism.
It was a little less ranty than I thought it was going to be, but that's good.
I'm tired today, man. This isn't an upbeat show here for me. I'm fucking tired, man.
Yeah, he drove the whole way.
I've been talking to people all weekend. I didn't go to bed on time, not once. I'm tired. I'm just tired. All right.
I kept him up way past his bedtime. We went to a local establishment the last couple nights for dinner and other things.
It's been way past my bedtime every night, except for, last night would be like a normal Saturday.
It was
bedtime
11:30
for
or
me.
something.
Yeah, when I passed out. When you put the race on your laptop, and
as soon
I was
as I
like,
put the race on, I look
we're
over.
done. I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning and I don't even know what the hell happened.
Yep.
So anyway, all right. Let's move on here. 250 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. Look them up for all your motorcycle graphics needs. I gotta call Eric and get some graphics for the old blue crew there. I got the plastics. I might as well put the graphics on.
You doing some vintage look?
Yep.
We're going to have to get some purple rims then.
That's exactly what we're doing. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
What color are they now?
Blue.
Well, you don't want to replace those then. You just want to get another set.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's expensive.
I know,
I've been looking. So, anyway, 250 race recap here. So, Joe Schmoda gets Kawasaki's only win of the year, either class.
So happy to see it.
Goes 1-1.
He rode great, and I'm really, really proud for Mitch. And I didn't get to talk to him yesterday. Every time we walked by, he was doing an interview because they just won. But that guy in particular, as a young me just seeing the success and seeing how he does it, and like learning a lot about him was a big impact. And then as I got into the industry, like more, especially as a mechanic, when I was, like, for example, when I was with KTM, like, he was quite a resource for me to lean on, because I was an engine guy, and you think you know a bunch, and then you go and you're like, these guys are like
next
wizards,
level.
right?
Next
so like
level.
he would ask me things, I'd be like, fuck, I never even thought about that. So one of those things, like, I have a couple old voicemails from like 15 years ago that I'll never delete and shit like that. So I love seeing a success for him, and I hope, truthfully, the success continues. So, like, for example, 250 class in Supercross, I would love to see it green. I don't have any skin in the game, but just for Mitch, let him go. Give me a Cam McAdoo championship, and I'll be smiling.
We'll see. It's a huge shocker that they haven't, that Kawasaki's, this is the only race they've won all year. Like, that is just, when they threw that stat out, and it's been since like 81 since that's happened. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So, this just proves the point, though, too, that people have been talking about. When Joe doesn't have any pressure, he rides fine. But as soon as you start talking about him for anything, like winning a championship, all bets are off.
I never even thought about that before.
He shits the bed. So, and I love Joe. I'm a huge Joe fan. Love the kid. Love, the way he rides, everything about him. But, like, it's 100% true at this point of, like, when there's talk of him being the guy, like there was in Supercross this year or outdoors or anything, goes way downhill. And then as soon as you get to the end of the season, like, as soon as we got to the point that he was basically out of it here, all of a sudden his results started to improve.
Interesting.
So
the mental side should be, if not his strength now, it should be soon, because when you work with Nicholas Way, your riding is good, but your mental swagger is everything.
He's going to the Lawrence program.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
that's Osho, right?
Yes.
Johnny O'Mara is awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see here. All right. So now we're going to jump right into our Isaac Nelson Designs Dig and Danger Zone. I should record that so I don't have to do that every week. Make sure to check out
the God of Supercross voice to do it.
Make sure, yes, there we go.
Awesome.
Make sure to check out Isaac Nelson Designs for all your logo development needs on Instagram or website. Link in the description down below. All right, so Hayden Deegan goes 2-3 for second overall. Fucking ripping.
Looks so good.
Fucking ripping.
Honestly, if you've seen Ricky Carmichael ride in person, Deegan is not very far from that.
Nuts are so big, they wouldn't fit in this fucking room.
Well, this is now we're going to talk about the finish line jump. It doesn't mathematically make sense that he was able to hit that.
None of it makes sense.
On a 250.
None of it makes sense.
The corner sucks so bad that you can barely make the little double out of the corner, and then there's a 20-foot run to the finish line. And, like, if you're just riding normal, you're like, okay, I'm riding over the finish line and shit like that. Well, he comes in, he's like, see you later. I'm going over the moon. Those bikes must be a lot of power, because to do that, you can't spin the tire. You have to just propel. And when you get into the face, like, you have to seat bounce the shit out of it, because that way you can get the bike to, like, pull up the face.
I don't think he was seat bouncing it. I don't honestly think he was seat bouncing. So I spent the entire first moto standing there waiting for him to do that jump, which he never did. So that was a huge letdown, because I was like, I know I'm going to be over here second moto because it's going to be hot. And then second moto comes around, and I'm like, happen to walk up there, and out of the corner of my eye, I catch him doing it, and I'm like, holy shit. So I go down there, he comes around the next lap, sure as shit, just bah! And the guy next to me, he's like, he's been doing it every single lap. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I have literally been standing here. So anyway, so then I stood there and I filmed it like the next 3 laps, and then there was like 2 laps to go. And so then I walked up and around, because I'm like, I got to see how he hits this corner. Because like you said, not only does that corner suck, there's that little double.
You can barely make the double.
Yeah, and there's not very much space between that and the finish. And I mean, like I told you earlier, he just like rolled through the corner. Like, it wasn't like he hit it crazy. It wasn't the Houston corner that we all saw at the beginning of the year that we all went, holy shit, where did that speed come from? Yeah, no, it was nothing like that. And he just rolled on up the face and boom, just sent it. But
that's crazy power.
You've been there 2 years now with me. I've been there 4 years now. I've never seen anybody do that. 450, 250, nothing. Nobody ever jumps that. Like, I'm just like, and like this is something I really like about this kid now. what he showed me is he's got these nuts to jump huge shit. Like, because, okay, so for example, in practice, right, we were arguing about this on amateur day there of what were the guys going to do in that first jump coming under the bridge there, that 5-pack or whatever. Would they go like 3 up onto the top and then double off? Would they go 4 over the top and then just roll down into the next one, whatever? And
because Sea Riders were going over the top of it.
Yeah, so you were like, dude, they're going to go all the way. And I was like, I don't know, man. That pocket looks really small. Like, they're going to be going so fast that I don't think it's going to work. The only person in first practice, because I went over there because I'm like, I'm going to see this. And I stood there all first practice, too. The only person that even tried it was Deegan about 4 laps in a row. And he was trying because he would do it. And he's just like, I mean, dude, he's... Same thing as with the finish line jump. Wide open, just slamming down in there and like, nope, not quite. And then
so he was
go
knuckling
over.
it?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, he wasn't much short, but he was short. And then he would go over like the little scrub jump and then he'd go over the next big double and he would like look back. And I'm like, when he did that the first time, I'm like, oh, he's sizing that. He wants to jump that whole fucking thing. And like I said, he tried like 3 laps in a row and never made it all the way clean. I don't know, man. I'm like, look, I'm still going to sit here and spit like the straightforward facts about him or whatever, but I'm becoming a fan of watching the kid because he's got these nuts to do things like this that it's like, who the hell else does it?
Yeah.
Who the hell else does it?
That's funny.
We have, I mean, who have we had recently since K-Dub to do these huge jumps?
There's a bunch of guys that hit big shit. Like even Faulkner, he's having a hard time now, but like there's a bunch of guys that hit big
okay,
shit.
so Brayton would be the guy that would go out and do it, okay? And Tomac, yeah, Brayton would hit huge jumps, and Tomac would kind of do it, but he wasn't like, especially the last couple of years, he's gotten a little more like ridiculous, or like not ridiculous. He's gotten a little more subdued of like, I'm not gonna do it because it's not worth getting screwed up over, you know. And I'm sure you guys are going to comment below with like a dozen different names, okay?
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that do big shit, but this guy's like the guy.
Yeah, but it's like watching this kid ride, it's like he's looking at what he did yesterday, looking at some of the stuff he did in Supercross. He's going to be the guy that's going to try to fucking jump stuff that like, I mean, I don't want to say it's like Stu-esque, but it's kind of Stu-esque of like, is that going to be the thing in 10 years here? Are we going to be like, are we going to go from, well, Stu would do it, or it's Stewable, to like, well, Deegan would do it? Probably. I don't know. It's a weird comparison, and like I don't really want to put that out there because I know I'm about to get slayed by the non-Deegan people in the comments for even saying something like that.
Are you known as like somebody that hates on Deegan or something? I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, because we said that he would be a 6th to 12th place guy in outdoors. We were fucking terrible, but then his dad comes out with a video a week later saying, "Yeah, we really thought he'd be like 6th to 12th place." What? But we were fucking idiots and morons and all of the above, dude. They fucking hate it because I didn't suck on his nuts to start like right off the bat. And I'm not going to suck on his nuts, period. But the kid's a fucking killer rider and jumping this big shit. I love watching it.
I doubt that this was your intention, but there's a thing like, for example, with the show and with TV shows in general where you got like the antagonist, protagonist, and that type of thing. So like, it's part of the show, right? I don't know.
So, anyway, needless to say, 2-3 to finish out the year, 2nd overall.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great outdoor season, man. He exceeded
He got a little bit robbed.
He exceeded all of our expectations. He exceeded, I think, even their own expectations from what Brian has said openly. So, and yes, he did get robbed with the motor.
Hate to see it. The motor, the red flag.
He didn't get robbed. All of us got robbed because that was sizing up to be a great last 3 rounds.
Boy, could you imagine the nerves that Hunter would have to deal with when Deegan's right there at the points for the last few? His 10th place yesterday wouldn't have been doing very good.
No, like I wanted to see Hunter win, but I wanted it to be last moto type shit there of like, holy shit, I can't believe this just happened type deal. So we got robbed on that front. But yeah, what a great rookie season for Hayden Deegan, in my opinion. I mean, from Supercross to this, and we've got 3 rounds of SMX to go. So
there's only 3 rounds left for the 96 on 252, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. So 3 rounds plus designations.
Oh yeah, if he's on 250,
he is.
Who's their third Rider for
I don't know. They haven't announced it yet. I don't know. So
some of the teams have been announced, like
France.
France.
Well, that's the only major one I've seen. So France has Fevra, Renault, and Vial.
Yeah, poor Dylan Ferrandis, fuckers.
He's trying to get a U.S. passport.
First off, fuck France, but even more, fuck the French Federation. What a joke every year.
He's trying to get a U.S. passport right now, is what I heard.
I think it's just a joke. I saw the thing on Instagram.
I don't know, man. That would be funny if he did, though.
I mean, for what it's worth, I like the guy, and I wouldn't be mad about it. If you want to be an American, that's cool, but
I wouldn't be mad about it either.
We ain't going to use him at the destinations for sure, but, welcome to the show.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, it doesn't go that fast. I don't know if you've ever been through any immigration stuff, but
I know.
It takes fucking forever.
So, anyway.
Let the government do anything. It takes forever, and they do it wrong anyways.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here. So, Tom Vial had a great... That was your Deegan Danger Zone, by the way.
Deegan
Danger Zone. All right, moving on here. Tom Vial had a good day, 3-4, led some laps, third overall. I mean, that was good. I'm sure it's end of the season kind of wear and tear. It was hot yesterday, too, so like...
Yeah, he and Ryder were very... They were much challenging for the win. It was good to watch.
Yes, so, and I think next year will be much, much better for Vial.
He will be a contender next year, I think.
Outdoors for sure. Supercross, I think he's still going to have like some growing pains, but I don't think it'll be as much as it was this year.
He's under contract at least another year, correct?
Yes.
Good.
He's probably going to be with KTM for a lot longer than that because he won 2 world championship. So
I'm not mad about it. I like the KTM guys personally. I don't have a KTM now. The last bike I had was, well, I haven't had a KTM in 10, 12 years, but Roger, Ian, Jay Dungy, like they have a lot of really good guys.
I like Jay Dungy because all he does is make memes that make fun of Phil.
He's a funny fucker. Jay Dungy is a funny dude. And his wife's awesome.
AP
Whitney's
was
super cool.
AP was talking about him doing it literally between motos at a race this year. And he's showing me on the start line, and I am cracking up, and I'm just like, this is great. So those two I think are perfect for each other there.
Yeah,
as far as a mechanic and
all
a rider
the personality
goes. Yeah. All right, Justin Cooper goes 13-2 for 4th overall. He got a little robbed there in that first one. He got into whatever with Pierce Brown. Yeah, that was
Pierce Brown
180. Yeah, Pierce Brown was on the ground with him there. So that kind of sucks for Justin Cooper for his last 250 outdoor race there, but the second moto he looked really good. I mean, he was riding super well that second moto, so
he probably will be better on a 450. A lot of guys like Jake Weimer type guys are better on a 250, but I think that the 450 suits his style better. I mean, I don't know that, but
I mean, he was really good in those Supercross rounds. He was like top 10 in a stacked field, so yeah, I think it'll go just fine. It's a good signing by Star for not a lot of money, so.
On my side, when you're working for a rider, like for example, I was working for, you guys didn't know, I was a mechanic for Kevin Moran's yesterday at Ironman, and when you're working on one of the classes, you barely see the other class. But for me, it worked out because Kevin's dad, Frank, who's a wonderful guy, we shared the mechanic role, and he did all the hard work, I did all the easy work, which it felt weird, but it was cool. But so normally I don't get to watch the other race, or really any of the races. But yesterday I got to witness about half of the 250 motos, and Justin Cooper, with the exception of slamming really hard, he rides really good.
Yeah,
like there's a handful of guys I'm like, these guys are really good. Hey, was RJ there yesterday?
No.
I was gonna say I didn't notice him.
No, he still got that concussion or whatever issue going on. Hunter Lawrence goes 5-9 for 5th. He was just
get it covered.
Got it covered, and the second moto. I mean, they said on the broadcast there he almost didn't ride the second moto because he was just so emotionally drained from like that first moto and like winning that title that it was almost like they didn't race. But I don't think Dazzy was going to let that happen. To be honest with you,
that's a tough thing to do, right? So, like as a racer, if you're in that spot, which I've never been in, but I can imagine that if you're in that spot, like you don't want to go out there after it doesn't mean shit and get hurt or something, but you don't also want to be the guy that just fucking quits because he doesn't have to. Like that's a pussy way of doing it, right? So
yeah.
He didn't really ride great, but
I was gonna say he was way off all day yesterday. So,
but hey, #1 plate, way to go!
Yeah,
I'm proud to see it. I mean, as you guys know, the fans have been watching for a long time. I've been a fan of Hunter's since before he came here, and especially after his struggles with being kind of shitty for a long time. So I'm really stoked to see him finding success and getting after it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yep. So, yeah, and they did. So, a funny thing is I was headed down there to watch to see if Star fucked with him on the start of the first moto there. Ended up getting sidetracked, didn't make it down there. All right, well, I should say, I watched the start, didn't pay attention to the rest of it like I was going to. Anyway, but come to find out there, they covered it on the broadcast there. They did put Dax Bennick on the other side of the box, and then there was Volan next to Hunter, and then you had like Justin Cooper and a couple other guys beyond that. So, but part of that was induced because Hunter didn't qualify that well yesterday. He qualified like 6th, so he didn't have. There was star guys ahead of him, so he could kind of go where they weren't, and there he was. So
I'll say that with the 96, I think that he's composed as a professional. He's methodical about his thoughts. Like he's well mannered and those type of things. I don't see a saber-toothed tiger in there.
absolutely not.
So like when the pressure's on, like. Not saying he crumbles at all. I think he's fantastic, but he doesn't have Cooper Webb saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's not. He's not that way. He's not that. He's solid. I don't think a lot of things shake him or get to him.
Yeah.
But he's not. Yeah, he's not bold-faced killer, which is weird too, because I don't feel like Jet gives off any sort of bold-faced killer vibe, but he is so fucking good.
Yeah, I think he could make maybe when he was a rookie with Ferrandis in the 250 class, maybe he's got some of that in him, but it's not like. I think he's so young still. Right?
Yeah.
That it's kind of like a little yappy dog. Right. I will say another thing about Hunter Lawrence that goes very unnoticed is that most people don't even know he's married, and he's got an absolute smoke wife. And to be able to have in any lay of life, let alone as a professional athlete, to have a chick that's flames, that isn't like a big distraction for like in your circle, right? And to have her, it becomes quite like, for example, a Faulkner thing, right? Like I like him a lot more than I used to, but it can become a thing.
Issues.
Most people don't even fucking know he's married, right? So it's like I'm paying attention. I'm taking notes a little bit for my own career.
All right, Ryder D goes 9-6 for 6th, and his starts were just absolutely on point yesterday.
Yeah, first half
that
of the motos,
was incredible.
I only saw the first half of the motos, and he looked really good.
Yeah, he was really, really good there, which was good. But man, he fades. So
being out front's tough, isn't it?
Well, this issue's been going on for a while. He's not strong all the way through, so. We'll see. We'll see what happens next year. Jalik Swole goes 11-5 for 7th. That was good. He seemed to ride well all day there, so that's
11-5.
Yeah, that's good for Jalik there.
Where's he next year? Triumph, correct?
That's what we're saying.
Okay,
we're idiots. We don't know anything. Tinfoil hat people over here, but Triumph.
Just they haven't made it public yet.
I guess.
Okay,
so. Max Volan goes 8-8 for 8th. Didn't notice him all day.
Maybe they'll show us the subframe for the Triumph next.
Maybe. Who knows? So, Seth Haymaker, super nice kid, by the way.
Yeah.
He was talking to Kev after the race yesterday. Super, super duper nice. 6-12 for 9th. Okay.
It's not as good as he's going to be.
No.
But not bad.
Direct in for the SMX rounds, so that's a big positive. Styles Robertson shows up for Star there. He's back, and 12-11 for 10th. Okay.
Another guy that's yet to find his full potential, but he probably will.
Yep. Austin Faulkner goes 435 for 11th, and poor Fork cannot buy a break, dude.
I'm so sick of seeing it, honestly. I used to not even like the guy. I thought he was a fucking little baby, but now like he's really earned my respect a lot. So you see him kind of knife the front end, just endo and get packed into the stupid single on the inside of the corner, and you're like, dude, come on. You hate to see it. He looked good in the first moto, too.
Hopefully he's okay. I haven't heard anything that he's not, so we'll see, but just rough, man.
Yep. Hate to see it.
Yep. Dax Bennett goes 27 for 12th. I saw him interacting with some fans yesterday. Nice kid.
He rides good, too.
He does ride good. So,
what's your... So, with most young riders, it's hard to tell, but, like...
It's going to take 2 to 3 years for him to develop into a full-blown party animal, I think.
What's your ceiling for him?
Right now, as it stands, like going into next year, I think next year he'll be top 5s and on the box occasionally. So,
KTM? Yamaha.
No, he's on Star.
I mean, next year.
Yeah, he's on Star still.
Okay.
He just signed that deal. So
cool.
But yeah, no, I think it's going to take a couple of years for him to develop. He's good. He's a really good rider, but he's just one of those really good riders. He's not a generational person like Deegan or like Jet. So it's going to take a couple of years to develop, and then he'll be there to party. But
I don't know if I'm not supposed to say this on this show because he's supposed to be like Deegan haters or whatever. I don't know, but fucking Deegan is going to be really fucking good for a long time.
Yeah.
He's going to be...
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope. We're like, there now.
We're
there.
Everybody that watches Hunter leaving and Justin Cooper leaving is like, how are we going to beat Deegan?
Mm-hmm. He's the guy next year. Can't wait to see him at A1. Anyway, Pierce Brown goes 17-10 for 13th. 17th was because he was laying in the first corner there with Justin Cooper, so he was coming through.
After slamming last weekend, too.
Pierce Brown. That's what Pierce Brown does. Pierce Brown is down in the brown all the time. So that's okay day. Dylan Schwartz goes 14-13 for 14th.
About what I expect for him.
Levi Kitchen is a fucking enigma. I do not understand. He was so good in practice.
He's so good.
Comes out, goes 7:37.
He was out front for a while, right?
I don't know what that crash was the second moto. He crashed before they went over the tunnel jump to go up Godzilla. I don't know if he hit the truck there or what, but...
Oh, shit.
I saw the Alpine Stars guy take off running. Running. And I was like, oof. Okay. So I don't really know what happened. The angle I had, I couldn't really see him, and I completely missed it happening.
I consider him to be a contender for at least the next year.
I mean, dude, he like wins one, and then he's just like 7th.
He's young.
He's like Nate,
really good, though.
No, he's not that young because he came into the pros older. He's in his 20s. He's like 21, 22.
I still consider that to be young as a professional athlete.
It's young compared to us, but in the sport itself, it's not that young. I mean, you got to figure Deegan's 16.
They're both young. I'm really referring to this as a man in his growth, like as a man, right?
Yeah.
So like your mental game kind of changes.
Yeah.
So even if you're 16 and by the time you're 22, like Jet's still fucking baby.
Yeah.
Right. So I look at the development as a man, and like besides that, your actual physical being changes, not just as an athlete, but like like the old dad arms thing.
By the time Jet's 25, he's going to be winning every single race everywhere, and it's going to be incredible.
And PGA events.
Yeah. It's just going to do it all. So, yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like, I just want to see... He's very... who else was... Oh, Nate Thrasher. Like, me and Justin argue about all the time. Very Nate Thrasher is. Like, he'll win, and then it's like 8-8, 8-9, 8-7, 6... 5th place here. Oh, he won again. Like it's so weird. It's just not consistent.
I've never met Nate Thrasher to get to know how his mental is, but he seems like he's got a lot of talent. I don't know if he's like you got to be a mental athlete too.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man. It's so weird. So weird. So Talon Hawkins goes 10-19 for 16th. So okay, that's
great rookie.
Yeah,
he's very talented.
It's all right to wrap up the rookie season, especially because he wasn't supposed to ride, but everybody was hurt. Preston Kilroy goes 16-15 for 17th. Derek Kelly, 23-14 for 18th. Jorgen Talviku from Estonia goes 19-16 for 19th. And Josh Vries rounds out our top 20 with an 18-17 for 20th. Couple other notables here. Julian Bomer, Juju, goes 15-38 for 21st. He had a good start, and then I don't know what happened that second moto, why he pulled off. I saw him pull off, and I'm not really sure.
I don't really know shit about that guy, but he's fast.
He's fast, and he's way better at Supercross.
That's good.
Way better.
He was one of the...
He was like half a second faster. Well, I got corrected because it's not seconds. He was like half a second faster at the Futures race Deegan did than Deegan was. So... yeah, so he's pretty impressive.
Did we even talk about Moran's in the fucking 450 class?
No, we did not. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it there. That's your Ironman 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. And
so
we're done with outdoors.
Yeah, so now this goes into leading to the next 3 races for the playoffs for 250s. Who are our contenders? Hunter, if he's not out to lunch after that number 1 plate.
Hunter, Deegan, J. Coop.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Those are the 3. That's it.
Because a lot of those guys, if they weren't around for Supercross, then they probably won't make the LCQ, right? So like you got the amateurs that move.
Oh no, they do. Like Haymaker is in the top 20, and he didn't ride Supercross. He got hurt. So yeah, it's gonna be all over the place. Plus you've got like, okay, so this is what's screwed up, and hopefully they get us a full blown list here, since we've got 2 weeks. So hopefully by like the end of the week we'll have a full list from Feld and MX Sports. So you have like in the 250 class, okay, like Jet moved out. Okay, so Jet is qualified straight in. He's in the top 20 in points, even without doing outdoors. But like he's not going to ride. He's already declared he's going 450. Okay, so there's an extra spot. So now the 21st person in points bumped up. Okay, so now they're in the top 20. Then you've got like Nate Thrasher. I don't know where he lands, but he's not riding. So okay, cool. So boom, that person's out. You know, so there's going to be a whole bunch of weird like moving pieces with that. Kind of like the 450s too. Like there's a whole bunch of guys that aren't going to ride it that rode Supercross. So we'll have to see how all the pieces fall into place.
So we're expecting probably tomorrow, some press releases such as Cooper Webb.
I don't know.
That makes me wonder.
We'll see. I'm super that is a great question as to when they're going to release the fact that Cooper Webb's riding Yamaha, because somebody, was it on Pulp or something? Somebody was talking about being in a group chat and asking him how the Yamaha was, and he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And somebody was like, why didn't you just tell him, bro, everybody's seen the video on Instagram. Supposedly there's a video floating around out there of him riding it. I haven't seen it yet.
So I don't know about it.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. But yeah, I guess you're right, because I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about that because in the industry here, essentially, it's kind of just known information. Like he's gonna show up to the SMX rounds on a star bike.
Kind of like Sexton going orange.
Yeah, well, yeah, after the season, but he's going to still ride the Honda. So that's a super interesting thing that I didn't really think about at all, was him or them having to do a press release that he's now on Star because he's not on KTM. Interesting. I don't know when we're going to see that, but we're going to have to see it in the next 2 weeks.
I imagine.
Because there's just no way, like, we don't.
At the very least, they want that press for their sponsors and their team stuff, right? So there's one half of it that's like you're unveiling it. The other part of it is like to get the notoriety for your team and your sponsors and things. So like that, I don't think they're just going to brush it under the rug. You want to do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a PR guy, but I imagine.
Yeah. I don't know. That's super interesting. I didn't think about that, but yes.
Maybe I should be a PR guy since I own a bunch of businesses. Fucking learn how to do that a little bit better, right?
Yeah, there you go. So as far as the 250s go, those I think are the three guys. I mean, I don't really know exactly the format. I think we're doing like 2 moto format, and they're kind of short.
Justin would be able to tell us.
I don't know. Nobody. I mean, this is one of those stupid things. It's like it's like a half-baked idea. It's like everybody talked a bunch of shit about World Supercross and how it, wasn't thought out. No, they had this. No, they had that. Didn't do this. Didn't do that. Whatever. And then it's like, look at the SMX shit that they're doing. Like, it's great that we're having more racing, but like, can we hammer out all the details first? Because it's like basics. Like somebody even pointed out with the 250 Supercross thing. Okay. Well, one coast runs one more round than the other one. Yeah. So what the fuck are you doing with that? And I don't remember. They've got it sorted out now, but at one point it was like, I don't know.
You mean as far as the points for getting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like if you ran, I can't remember which coast it was, you got an extra round. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, extra round of points is a lot of points. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see how it works out. I do hope it works out. I kind of like the idea of playoff stuff. I still think we could, it's the most perfect way I could put this, refine the schedule a little bit better, to make it more adequate for the guys. But I'm not against the playoff stuff.
Everybody that talks about this stuff is like, oh, we do too many races. Well, as a racer and as a mechanic, I love having a lot of races. Like having them go from one coast to the other coast sucks ass, especially if you're a privateer has got to drive your shit across the country. That sucks. But when I was growing up, we had a back-to-back at the Pontiac Silverdome, like Friday to Saturday. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Well, I said when we did the COVID cross stuff, when we were doing 3 Supercrosses a week or whatever at the same place, I was like, I don't understand why this wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're already renting the stadium. The dirt is already in there. even if the Tuesday night race doesn't really bode a lot of whatever, like you want to put more races in the year, why don't you just do this? Like,
it could be like a ticket sales thing, but then I think to like Anaheim Supercross where they can sell out 3 in 9 weeks or whatever it is, and it's like, well, that's not a problem then.
Yeah.
But 2 races in a week, you might have less. But even Michigan, like, there's a huge motocross industry in Michigan of riders and racers and all that other crap. Like, you could sell out Ford Field twice.
Yeah,
no problem.
And again, too, I don't know. It was hard to tell because attendance was so far down that year because of everything that was going on, obviously.
Talking about Rona?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was at those Indy Supercrosses. And, like, the Tuesday night one was real low-key. Like, there was not a lot of people there. But I'm still like, dude, but if all the upfront costs are already there, like I said, dirt in the stadium, whatever, how much do you really got to clear? I don't know. Again, that's
probably had a lot more to do at the time than the Tuesday.
That's what I thought, because I'm like, dude, I honestly think this would be a thing. Like, because think of all the regular sports programs you get on a weekday. You know, you got hockey games, and football games, and baseball games, and all that crap like that. Why can't we have a Supercross race? Why can't we do that? And then you could add your few more rounds, so you have 20 rounds of Supercross. Then great, cool, awesome, I'm in.
Speaking of hockey, when I was standing next to the podium, I mentioned Lars Lindstrom that we got to get his guys out when they come to Detroit in February for a Detroit Red Wings game. He's a Swede, and the Red Wings always have a ton of Swedes. Yeah. But what I didn't mention to him is that they need to put a fucking neutral lever on the bike so that fucking bikes can't go into neutral anymore. I should have mentioned it to him, but maybe I'll mention it to him at the hockey game. That way I can get some passes or something.
There we go. Anything else you want to talk about?
Let's talk about some things we saw at the race. So one thing we were talking about doing, what we didn't do because of everything else going on, was we were going to go and do like a roaming around the pits video.
Would have been great had it not been a gazillion degrees.
It was hotter than hell, which was fun. I don't mind being hot. He sweats and it's fucking snowing out, so whatever. But yeah, the pits were cool. A lot of people there were real like everybody's friendly down there. Everybody's got American flags everywhere, and there's a lot of shit talking Democrat stuff, which is super fun. But yeah, it was really interesting to be there and to see that even in the heat, the industry of amateur racing there in the middle of the cornfields was popping, and the track was really fun and really, really nice place. And there's some things in that at that track that nobody gets to see. Like, for example, when you ride down from the paddock, which is the pro pits,
this is super cool,
to the dirt bike track, to the starting gate, you ride through like some gorgeous woods and you go over wooden bridges and shit over a river. It's super cool. Well, the fans have no idea that's there.
It's probably one of the most picturesque starting areas of the entire national series.
So cool.
So yeah, it is super cool. Well, so what they used to do is that hill you guys would come up there from the mechanics area. It used to be both ways there, which was a mess.
Yeah,
an absolute mess. Like, especially after after practices, or like 250 moto would get over, and then there's like 450 guys trying to get to the line really quick and stuff. Like, it was.
And the pedestrians are everywhere.
Oh, dude, and everybody stands
the
there.
Fucking mules.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a lot to rant about, but I am so sick of seeing mules kicking up dust at dirt bike tracks right next to the track. And
Polsterco rant.
Well, I don't really. It's not a big deal, but like, it's dangerous. They don't belong there, and they're kicking up the dust when they're trying to keep the TV cameras and shit going. Like, get that shit out of here.
Yep. So, yeah,
it's never the people that like belong there that do it because they know better. It's like the people that are locals and bringing water to the flaggers or whatever. Like, I don't have a problem with them doing it, but be smarter.
Yeah. Anything else? Because I don't have anything. I'm done. My notes were very sparse for the weekend here. When we go to races, it always is.
So when's the next one for us?
Chicago. 3 weeks.
Chicago
in 3 weeks.
I would like to do NC, but I doubt I get out there. Especially if, I don't know, I don't think I talked to Kevin about doing any of the rounds, but it'd be fun to go to some of them.
Yep. That's the plan, is Chicago.
It'd be fun. Are you doing anything for that? Or are you just going as a fan in the stands?
Just going. Well, I mean, try to get passes. We'll see.
I mean, that means nothing to me. I'm talking about for content.
Oh, no. There's no plan to do anything.
You're not going to do a selfie video like Schefter in the fucking bar?
I don't, dude, I don't have any idea. I mean, I literally just found out, literally through Pulp, that there's Friday practice. And then when I was looking it up last night, there's a whole Fan Fest thing Friday to go to and watch qualifying and practice.
So this is a great thing you just brought up. So we talk about from time to time fix the sport things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand that there are some people that listen to this show that matter, and one of the best things you could ever do that costs you next to nothing except for liability for the fans is most people that go and put their asses into seats at a Supercross have never ridden a motorcycle. And if they have, they've never fucking been on a dirt bike track. And if they were to walk down on the track like you do in an arena cross race, and you can't even walk up the face of the Supercross triple, and you're walking through the whoops, and you got like it's 16 feet from one to the next, it really changes your perspective on that stuff. Now, if you want to grow the fans and you want to grow the sport and you want to have kids walking it and be like looking up like amazed and that kind of stuff, get the fans on the floor.
Yep.
It's tricky to do, but if you have Friday practice and the race is Saturday, well, it looks like you got a bunch of time of availability now. And even if you just did it for an hour or two, that's a very, very easy way to grow the sport with hardly any overhead. And you know how they are. They're going to charge $25, $100, whatever they're going to charge. So they're going to make money on it anyways, especially if they have to pay for insurance liability on that stuff. I don't know if they do. If they do, then they cover it. But this is a very easy way, like what I'll call low-hanging fruit, to grow this thing. And to, as a promoter, I'm not a promoter of anything, but this is the fucking easiest way to grow your base. And have people want to come again. Because well, we do a bunch of business things, and a lot of business things want an experience, right? And okay, you can have VIP experiences and stuff. I don't like that shit, but that's cool. That's the thing. I don't have that kind of money to be worried about that stuff. But okay, you don't have to have a fucking suite to bring people down and show them something they've never seen before. All you gotta do is get there 2 hours early and walk the track with them, and then they've seen something that they will never forget. When I was a kid, going to Pontiac for an example, when you're walking in the turnstile and it's a big dome, so it blows the wind behind you and all that stuff, you don't forget that stuff. Now you're a kid and you got your dad wants to get you a Suron or whatever. Well, when you walk the Supercross track, it's going to really open your eyes to some shit you would otherwise not have seen before, especially in these cities. Most of these kids will never see that otherwise. So real easy way to grow this thing.
It'll be interesting. There's some... So I was going through last night looking at tickets and stuff like that. They have some new VIP experiences they're trying out with this. There is a Star Racing one.
Yeah?
$2,000 a person.
Whoa. So tell me about it.
If it's anything like it used to be, and I don't know because I didn't do the old one. So
a Chad Reed type thing?
Yes. Or Jason Thomas used to do it with the Rocky Mountain team. So they have a coordinator a la Jason Thomas, and he is with you all day, and you go down and you go in the truck and you meet all the riders and all this cool stuff like that, and then you go and watch practice with this coordinator and watch the race with them and all this stuff, but you're everywhere all day, checking stuff out. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things I might have to do it just to see what it's like.
That's the Disney in you, but from my perspective, that's great. You're doing premium things, that's cool. But I don't fucking ever buy premium stuff like that, ever.
You don't.
I'm a bang for your buck guy, right? So if you're trying to get bang for your buck, for example, when you have the pit fan fest or whatever, the rounds that don't have the pits are getting cheated, right? Detroit never has pits. Maybe they will this year, but because it's a different time of the year, it's in February allegedly this year. But the same thing, right? So if you have the pit experience, the going through the pit party and seeing all the bikes up front, if you don't have that, and you're an 8-year-old kid that's walking around and you want to see your best buddy rider, well, you don't get that experience, right? So I'm about taking here's the general fan experience and making that better, not making more premium shit for people to spend a ton of money on.
Well, trust me, they're going to make more premium shit's what they're going to make because they can sell it.
If they grow the base, then they can do both, and you'll have more of the base people that want that premium, especially once they get a sniff of it. Once they walk down and they can't climb the triple face, they're going to be I want to fucking meet these people, right? So then you get way more customers in general, and there can be a lot more people that are engaged. So it's a lot of engagement thing, right? So I'm about growing it organically, and especially shit like that that's already fucking there and free. You ain't you have to have flaggers or whatever they call those people that ushers. You have to have people run that stuff, but it's not a big investment, right? It's not an additional day or anything like that. It's just doing a little bit more with what you already got.
So I'm just looking this back up here to see. So they have the SMX Gold Package and event ticket for $1,000. Okay, here's what it includes: event ticket, early access to Fan Fest / paddock area on race day, early stadium access to industry seating for practice and qualifying, group track walk and photo op, Hemp Suzuki Twisted Tea hauler, Hemp Suzuki team meet and greet, catered lunch, VIP swag, limited edition VIP credential, VIP access to Champions Lounge. Join us in the pits with the perfect spot to relax, recharge, refuel, and included in your experience. Okay, so that is $1,000. That's
the Chicagoland.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, oops.
I wonder what camping is at Chicagoland. That'd be fun.
I looked that up too. Hold on a second.
I love me a good tailgate camp like that.
I'm gonna go through this here.
Last time I camped at a speedway race. I'd never been to a NASCAR race like that, but was it Faster Horses at MIS, Big Country Music Festival?
Yeah.
Dude, changed my life, and I get in multiple ways.
All right, so then there's the SMX VIP track walks, $150. The opening ceremonies thing.
Track walk?
Yeah.
Oh, so like when they have that one group that goes around?
Yeah, there's usually two.
Okay.
VIP opening ceremonies, $350. You get to watch opening ceremonies from the floor. Birthday podium experience. They take you up on the podium at some point during the night. Talk to you, $250.
Yeah, these are already things existing.
Yeah, VIP final experience, $400. You get to watch the 450 main from the floor, which is, to be honest with you, it's actually fucking worth it. Because I did this back in the day. I didn't pay for this, okay? Let me just throw that out there. I bought the track walk.
Yeah.
And I bought the press conference access in Oakland when I went, okay?
Oakland?
Yeah. Because I was going
a long time ago.
I was going by myself, 2019. Because I was going by myself. So I was like, well, this is perfect. I'll try these out and just see what they're like, right? Because I don't have to pay for anybody else. So
this is before Ashley?
This would have been right after I met her.
Okay.
So the trip was planned. I had gone by myself. So anyway. So what ended up happening was the guy who did the VIP experience with me was super cool. And we met up after the 250 main before the 450 main. And he was like, hey, man, because when you meet up with the guy, at least the way it worked with me, you kind of were just like sitting in random seats or whatever to watch something. So then we could be closer to the elevator. So as soon as the main was over, we could boom, go, and he could put me in the press conference, right? So what we did is we got kicked out of like the first couple seats. And finally he was just like, you want to go down there? And I was like, go down where? And he's like, down there. And I'm like, on the floor? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yes, I fucking do. So we went down on the floor, and I watched that whole main from the floor, which is fucking sweet. You can't see a whole lot, but dude, to watch those guys rip that track, it's insane. And be that close to it, fucking nuts. So the $400 for that is kind of worth it. There's the press conference for $150. That's okay, but you're just kind of like that awkward, weird person that's not supposed to be in the room. So like it's a little weird.
Not my cup of tea, whatever.
Yeah. And then, yes, here's the Yamaha Star Racing package for $2,000. Troy Lee Designs Red Bull package for $1,500. And the Primetime Zone for $500.
Whatever that means.
Interesting. Let's just see what the Star package says here. It includes event ticket, early entry into paddock and race day, coffee and light snacks upon arrival at Team Hauler, personalized team tour, up close and personal look at factory Yamaha motorcycles, team track walk with Q&A about the track on site. This is getting better for me because if I get to go on track walk with the guys, that is something you can't fucking get anymore.
It's not with Justin Cooper. It's with whoever they're, probably Jamie Dakotas. Whoever your liaison.
But if you get to go on track walk while all the guys are doing track walk,
I don't think it's during actual track walk.
I don't know. I
think it's one of those because they have like the one group that gets pointed around.
But this is worded way differently than that. Because the other one doesn't say that you get to do it with. You don't get a team track walk. So that's interesting because.
Damn, so if you and your kid go to do this, it's $4,000 fucking dollars.
If I go to do this, I'm doing this by myself.
I'm talking about just
yeah,
saying you,
but that's not a surprise either. Q&A during practice and qualifying. Okay, whatever. Lunch provided with at the Star Hauler. Meet and greet with
Lunch
team
sounds
riders.
great right now.
Yeah. Reserved seats at Star Yamaha hospitality area. Your team host will sit with you during the race program for insight and conversation. Blue Crew merch package and VIP credential. I wonder who the host will be. That's interesting type stuff. But if you get to do like I said, if you get to do the track walk, like, that's pretty, because this ain't like the old days. So, like, even, what's it called? Like,
you have my attention.
Media doesn't get to do track walk anymore.
I didn't know they ever did.
Yeah.
I used to be media and rider and a mechanic, and I never did it as media.
For a long time there, it was kind of like there was a long time that, like, Kev could have got me one of the fucking wristbands.
Definitely,
like,
those days are gone.
Like, yeah, well, that too. But Kev could have got me wristbands like what we get now that are normal, and I could have gone on track walk also.
Oh.
So, like,
track talk is a lot of fun, but it's
I
also
never got
partially
to
fun.
experience it, so that's why I'm like, dude, I want to go do this.
This is an offensive thing to say, and it is what it is.
Oh boy, here we go.
But part of the reason that track talk is awesome is because there's not a bunch of fanboys like you around. Like, honestly, so, like, one of the last ones that I really remember doing was very memorable was when Kevin Windham was in there.
Yeah.
And he was doing the transfers at the time, and we was literally like we were.
He just talked about this on Pulp 2 weeks ago.
I'm trying to think of who I was with at the time. Maybe it was Adam Nap, I forget. But that day, we're walking around, and, like, a bunch of the Honda guys at the time were from near me, and we're old friends or whatever. And so we're just kind of walking around, and next thing you know, like, we're with K-Dub for like half an hour. Like, where was he gonna do a transfer at? I'm like, look at this berm over here. You can land in the fucking. It was so cool to see that. So on one hand, like, it's cool because it's limited, but it is a really cool experience for sure. But if you don't look at things the way I do, and I don't know, maybe you do, if you're just a general ass fan, it's probably like, yeah, that's cool. It's probably something that should be free for your admission, not something you pay $2,000 for.
Yeah, but they don't want all the fanboys down there.
Exactly. Get the fuck out of here.
Which is why I should pay the $2,000 to get out.
Well, that's why it should be free for the fans in between day program and night program when there's no riders around. Just let them roam and check it out because it's such a thing for the fans to see that.
It was really cool in Daytona when I got to go on the track there before I'd been on a Supercross track at all. Like, that was kind of cool to be able to go on that after that race was over. So
after the race?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you see it all hammered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was cool. So
I was really surprised yesterday after the race. They weren't even to the podium yet, and they already had 6 tractors on there ripping it up. And even Davey had to, like, shoo one of them off because they were making so much noise right next to the podium. And, like, get the fuck out of here. You're trying to have TV cameras be able to hear them, you know?
Yeah.
But they're, like, normally after a race, one of the things is, and I recommend this to all of the young riders at home, even at amateur stuff, is after the races, go walk the track and take notes. So, like, this isn't just hockey, this isn't just racing, but this is, like, all these sports.
I don't know if you can do that anymore, to be honest with you.
Oh, wait, what do you mean?
It's probably a liability thing. You're not allowed to be on the track, period.
You're not allowed to be on the track. A racer is. So what I'm saying is go and take notes on the track and how things develop and what happens with the dirt and, like, different lines. Just take notes and keep that book with you for your career because those little notes, it's just like a pitcher, I'd imagine, in baseball, but just having those little notes is very valuable information to have. And if you're planning on it being a long career instead of a one and done splash, a cup of tea in the pros, then that's a great way to learn some things. And before the smoke even settled yesterday, they're tearing it all down. And it's like a lot of the riders go and walk the track. Chase Hexton does this very often to go and see what you can learn, right? And
yeah.
It was weird to see. I understand it probably has a lot to do with the fact that the amateurs are racing the next day, so you got to get it prepped. But and you probably want to do it before. Too. You probably want to do it while the track's still wet, so it's not dry and hard and dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, well, what are you guys doing over here? Get the fuck out of here! And when Davey yelled at me, I was like, yes.
So
who was very nice to me, by the way, yesterday. What a nice guy. I've mentioned a few times on the show that there are probably very few people that love the sport less than them, whether it's by their own will or whether it's just because they've been in it for so long. But it's interesting to be around the guy. Like, I went up to him, congratulated him, things, and he ended up wanting to talk a little bit. But he's seen a lot of shit, in this sport, right? And not just shit, but like he's just been around a lot. So then, as a business guy, I'm talking to a business guy, he's not really like he's seeing the show and he's observing it, but he's kind of the maestro for the whole thing. So like, it's really interesting. I mean, I can't think of a whole lot of parallels to another sport or something like that, but like when he's doing stuff, like he's looking at the whole show. He's the director of the show, right? So it was cool to see that. And then you don't really see him on the broadcast unless it's like a feature or something, but it's cool to see that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know if he's good for sport or bad for sport. That's not my business to think about, but you know, as a business guy, I'm like, it's interesting.
All right. Well, I think we've bumbled on long enough now.
Yeah, right. It's time for lunch.
Yeah.
3:15.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This has been another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show, episode 249. We'll be back for 250 here in a couple weeks. We're off next week. We're off. I'm taking the week off. I'm pretty beat. It's been a long couple of weeks for me here. So
just beat it.
Thanks to all our sponsors, Complete Racing Solutions, TLR Coatings, Holster Co, Gutter Worx, Adept Creative Co, Isaac Nelson Designs. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and we'll be back in a couple weeks with the first SMX show. Later.